Hey everyone, like me I'm sure you're excited about the World Games starting tomorrow. But before that begins, I've got one small note to make about the 2022 World Games, and that's that poaching is still so underrated. I hope that previous videos on poaching have helped to dispel the myth that poaching is lazy, or that poachers are always exploited at the top level. Across the 2022 tournament, 1/3 of the turnovers that occurred were influenced by defender poaching. It's a bigger part of the game than people think, in my opinion. And I think coaches should be encouraging and building systems to aid poaching more, whilst avoiding playing offenses which are too easy to exploit with poachers. Along with this, many players, even at the World Games level, are not really looking to poach, and are just looking to be as tight as possible to the player they're guarding. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the different types of poachers we saw at the last World Games. The first type of poach block you've been seeing since this video started is deep poach blocks. This is a very standard one. The last back peels off to provide help if the huck is thrown. Obviously with less vert stat going on, that approach is slightly more complicated as teams are more spread out, but the skill has kept up with the times. Classically you see the defender coming from the backside behind the receiver, but there's a few instances of frontside help here too. Crossfield hucks, which Canada in particular like to throw, were very liable to be poached off, and deep poachers in particular see a lot of use in mixed ultimate because of the greater speed and size differentials between players. The next type, almost as numerous as deep poach blocks, were upline poach blocks. Infamous for being the most dangerous player in ultimate, though risky, this poach block can be very rewarding. My favourite here is the Valeria Cárdenas upline poach, where she exploits the US's set play and catches the disc for good measure. Though some people are quite against it, I think it's an unavoidable part of the game, and a needed counter to the cookie cutter predictable nature of a lot of upline cuts. Both players need to be aware of each other. Cutters should note that they don't have the God-given right to that space. They need to check it, and defenders should understand that they have more control of the safety of this play, and more opportunity to avoid collisions. It's great to look for this poach whilst guarding the first in the stack, because you're likely closest to the throw, but sometimes it's even easier to go from the second in the stack, because the person you're marking is often less active. It's also a good idea to check if you can help when your player is clearing out upline. In that open side lane you can also disrupt undercuts. There's far fewer instances of this poach though, likely because looking from the front of the stack, the cutter, disc and destination of the throw occupies such a wide field of vision, whereas for an upline poach, all these things are all constantly in your field of vision. This Kiyoko Benev's block is easily the most impressive of the whole tournament. She was hunting for this exact block all week, so it's awesome to see her get it in the semi-final.
A ghost defense, but she does get a hand. That was sensational.
If you can poach in the deep space and the under space, surely you can also poach in the break side space, and you sure can. Check out Schlor blow up this inside shot, but my favourite ever example of this poach block comes from Alex Gan at Tom's, where she robs GB of the disc. It seems like this poach is much more likely to call an inside break, but you can of course try to poach onto the around too. The final spatial poach is in the reset space. There's only one example of this from last year's World Games, but if you want to find more, watch some of the US teams playing against the Mooncatchers at the US Open recently. They of course recognised that throws to down in the reset space were very likely to be thrown, and adjusted to try to intercept the disc.
Looking for Dan Desmarais with a bit too much intention.
There were only 2 lane blocking poach Ds. They're more likely to lead to a swing than a block. These 2 examples aren't amazing. A more quintessential example is Rupal Galani's layout block back in 2018. These next blocks are when free players become opportunities for poach blocks. I think my favourite is when Gan flash poaches the lane for a beat before catching up with his original mark and getting the block.
And it's going to be smacked away by Alex Gan.
This block is generated because Canada poaches the break side, bracketing Germany's active cutters, meaning no one gets through.
Difficult spot for Spiegel, and he throws it straight back to the Canadians. Carroll again with it.
This block is a classic example of getting carried away in flow.
The Aussies actually, they love to put their big man in front, and this time it pays off.
And the last couple of blocks are trash collection. Not deliberate poach blocks, but times where the defender is rewarded for being heads up. It's so common to see an attacker clean up the disc instead here. The final type of poach block, which didn't actually occur at the World Games, is a second order poach block. It's also thought of as a cascading switch in OG Lou Burris articles, or helping the helper in basketball context. I talk about this in the Rhino Pony video, but this Dan Desmarais Poach rock from last year's London invite might be the clearest example. Good luck to everyone competing at the World Games. I can't wait to watch some great Ultimate and some great Poach box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
It's always Dan Desmarais.